I just caught this clip from the Prime Quadrant Conference in Toronto, October of 2024, filmed just a few short weeks before Mark Carney stepped in to replace Trudeau as Prime Minister. He's up there with his lofty titles stacked high: chairman at Bloomberg, chairman at Brookfield, UN climate envoy, World Economic Forum founder, advisor to Trudeau, and advisor to the UK Labour Party. You name it. All months before taking Canada's top job, and boy oh boy does he have a lot to say. In hindsight, maybe he shouldn't have.
I do spend some time advising on what, again, pro bono, but advising on the types of policies that are going to have maximum impacts for investors. So I'll give you an example, which is one of the issues. It's not the biggest issue. It's like 2% of global emissions. You wouldn't know it from the headlines, but 2% of global emissions is for air travel. Emissions from air travel. Now, so the question is, are we going to have green, sustainable aviation fuel? What's happened in the UK, the EU, is they've said to major airlines, look, if you're flying in and out of Heathrow or wherever, you have to have 10% of your load has to be sustainable aviation fuel by, I think it's 2030. Consequence of that policy has been to convert some entrepreneurs in Texas, in this case, a company called Infineon, to become economic. Because all of a sudden, American Airlines, British Airways need to buy that fuel. They'll pay a green premium. You've got an offtake, that's high credit quality. And so in that case, we Brookfield put $1 billion to work there, and it's a fantastic opportunity. The point being, without the policy, the policy has to drive it and drive things down. So yeah.
Wait, did that just happen? Did I hear that right? Online, some are yelling insider trading, but I'm not completely sold on that idea. What I heard feels more like influence peddling. Maybe not illegal, but definitely as corrupt as it comes. So let's rewind and break it down. There's Mark Carney, cool as a cucumber, and he's bragging about advising politicians on policy.
I do spend some time advising on what, again, pro bono, but advising on the types of policies that are going to have maximum impacts for investors.
Pro bono, of course, which is kind of odd, since minutes earlier he said this.
By the way, don't price your services for free, because the demand tends to be more than your time.
Then he explains how the policies he shapes and designs maximize impact for investors.
Maximum impacts for investors.
Huh? If that's not influence peddling, what is? But here's the real kicker. He's literally admitting it after shaping airline e-fuel policies that
maximum impacts for investors.
He poured $1 billion into Infineon.
In this case, a company called Infineon. We Brookfield put $1 billion to work there, and it's a fantastic opportunity.
A Texas e-fuel company, one of the very few in the world that make e-fuel. Airlines are now forced by the policies Mark Carney created to buy e-fuel.
Because all of a sudden, American Airlines, British Airways need to buy that fuel. They'll pay a green premium. You've got an offtake, that's high credit quality.
Who from? Well, Infineon, of course, Mark's partner company. Mark Carney and Brookfield get to line their pockets, while you and I, we're left holding the bag and footing the bill. It's a slick move, or a grift, as some might call it. Leveraging his influence over world leaders, crafting policies that are then enforced by law, and cashing in. As the UN's climate envoy, he's got a front row seat to design these rules globally, rules that just happen to fatten up Brookfield and their partners, like Infineon. So what about other Brookfield bets? Take Schneider Electric. Remember the Liberals pushing heat pumps to replace your furnace? Maybe you've even got one installed and it's humming away right now. Schneider, another Brookfield company under Carney's watch, has seen double-digit growth thanks to those climate change policies he influenced. Heat pumps, e-fuel, what's next? This feels like a pattern, and I'm betting there's a lot more waiting to be dug up. So stick around, we're just getting started. And remember, Canada, with Mark Carney in charge, everything's for sale.